Well, welcome to the podcast again, and I'm so excited. We have Amy Gray with us, and Amy is the Black Belt. Amy, why are you a Black Belt, and why would I be so excited that you're on this podcast?
Well, you're so excited because my name is Amy Gray, NDIS Black Belt. Straight up, we all know that, no explanation. Why did we use Black Belt? A lot of people ask this. If anyone knows anything about Jiu-Jitsu, submission grappling, the concept of attaining a Black Belt is nothing short of consistent long-term commitment. So black belts might not be, biggest killers in the world, but they have the most amount of information, a pretty broad sort of understanding of what they're talking about. So while nobody can know everything, you can guarantee that a black belt might have seen or heard it. I didn't relate that to myself. It was about the program because we want to bring a really well-rounded program into the sector.
That makes
Hence,
sense.
NDIS Black Belt, that's the name of the program.
I love it, and I am so happy that that program is flourishing. So, I'll let you know why I'm excited you're here. It's because Amy and I both share a love of people doing well in life and people being treated well in life. And Amy and I are not, we're not alone in looking around going, there's been such a scarcity mindset that's crept into us as providers. Everywhere you look, people who were very collaborative are now struggling to collaborate. And we're not pointing fingers, no different than anyone else. But we're also very deliberate about going, I don't want that to be my permanent me. Okay? And it's like, Amy, if we go back, say, 6 months, 12 months ago, it was a lot easier for people in the industry to collaborate with each other because they had spare time, because there was spare margin, spare money. It was easy. But now it's been tough. What are you seeing?
Well, first of all, this industry, number one, right? And it's important to remember this, there's a space for everyone. It was designed for collaboration and it's not a full contact sport. We know these things, okay? I guess what we're seeing is competition rising. And we know that. And it's what we have to do now, it's a young industry. We kind of have to be the architects. And this is a great opportunity to have those conversations to say, let's choose professionalism, let's choose collaboration, let's sort of work together a little bit more. What sort of like we have seen, and I don't like pointing fingers. If you're guilty of doing some of these things, it does not matter.
I'll
Um,
point fingers all day because I'll be honest, I'm guilty of a lot of things. Like, we're good, you
um,
know what I mean?
Look, I've seen the industry is getting a little bit cutthroat, and it's not good enough. And I feel like yes, we're sort of all like under stress and we're all trying to do our best, but we can't allow this industry to be kind of chaotic and anxiety riddled battlefield where we're all sort of flexing or making these wildly inappropriate networking moves. I think like ultimately what I see, right? Because I'm a customer too at the end of the day, right? So it's really important to remember this, right? The way we treat each other as providers is how we're going to treat our staff. And then that's how our staff are going to treat participants. And we just can't have it. Okay. We just can't have it. So I think like every now and then having somebody say, hey guys, let's just be really empathetic and nice to each other. We're all under pressure. We're all scrambling to kind of find our feet within the industry. It is a new industry at the end of the day. Come on, it's sort of like 7 to 10 years old. We need to kind of be the architects of it, don't we? And say, ultimately, like set down some rules. I know we're stressed. We can't be impatient with each other. We can't sort of be rude. We really need to, I think at the end of the day, collaboration comes from that place of we'll do it well if we know the role of the other people as well.
Okay.
So if we're empathetic with the jobs of the other people we're trying to collaborate with, we know where their barriers to doing a good job are, and then we can work better under those
Okay. That makes
circumstances.
sense. Can I ask a couple of questions? Okay.
Sure.
So, firstly, I'll always back anyone who's going to come and say hard stuff. Okay, because that's probably the most important thing is to speak. In my opinion, is and that's what leadership is speak the truth even when it's not pleasant. Just speak the truth so we can sort stuff. Okay.
Mm.
So back you 100% on that. It's like I think it was a lot of what we're seeing of people being very self focused and self driven you got BDMs with massive KPIs they can't meet because the KPIs were set back a year ago when life was very easy for them. You've got directors dealing with margin squeeze that's off the scale. I was talking to someone earlier today, 3% margin. Well, good luck with that. What's going to happen on the 1st of July when the new award comes out? You can kiss your margin goodbye. I'd be shutting down today if I was in that spot. Like, things are hard. And I think we had it so good in, say, 2021, 2022. Life was so easy in the NDIS sector, and it was so easy to be generous with our time. So part of me wonders if we're comparing today, which is the new normal, it's not changing. The new normal to the golden days, the easy days. Oh, we have capacity. Oh, we no longer have capacity. That was easy. I wonder how much of it is what we're seeing out of line with the rest of the business world, or is it actually out of line with the rest of the business world? I'm not saying we drop our standards to everyone else's standard. I'm just saying, Amy, what are you thinking? Like, what are your thoughts here?
Look, I think at the end of the day, we are such a unique industry. We simply can't compare. And we're new and we're young and we're growing and we're forming. And yes, we've seen such a massive change, right, in sense of competitiveness. And Michael, it is simply going to get worse. We
Sure.
know that funding cuts are going to come into play even more. So fight for services. And that's ultimately what we're seeing. We're seeing people trying, not anymore trying just to find a position to sit in. They're having to fight for a seat at the table. And I guess all we can do is kind of evolve with that and not forget our manners.
You're so funny. Okay, so part of me thinks it's easy for you and I to say this because, I mean, I've been a provider before where the pricing is set. Okay. Whereas now, like you, I'm able to set my own prices so I can make sure that there's margin. I feel like I would be more selfish if I was living on 3% margin. And I also feel like it's everyone that claims to have these wonderful values. Hell, look at the front cover of people's really poorly done websites about all their values. But when it comes down to survival, people's values go out the window. It's like if my family was struggling for food and I was trying to cover for my family, I too would be not interested in any sort of community service. I'd be just looking after food for my family. And I think that mindset might be creeping in. So let's assume for a moment that that might be true. People's values go out the window because needs trump values. What then? Like, what do we do then as leaders? What do we do then as people who have influence? Like, how do we adjust things?
I'm more than happy to answer that. And it's just a couple of words, right? Not allowing dysfunction to become normal. And so irrespective, right, of whatever game you're playing, you must stay polite.
Okay.
And I guess at the end of the day, when that dysfunction comes from our leadership or owners or our support coordinators, if we're all doing it, it then becomes culture, right?
Yeah,
And I'm
you're
no
right.
genius. I am profoundly ordinary, but even I know we've got a bit of a problem. So I guess you're saying, what can we do about it? Okay, I can give you 3 things we can do about it.
That would be awesome.
Collective. We can, number one, we can identify it because when we allow these things, we endorse them. And toxic behaviors don't just happen, right? They sort of thrive a little bit when we ignore them. And honestly, I want any owner or CEO or anyone watching this to turn to the person next to them and ask them how they've been getting treated by other sector professionals. And they'll tell you, yeah. And then we start to see sort of burnout and blame shifting and not nice communication running rampant. So that's one thing we can do. Another thing we can do is kind of like be the change we want to see. Right. So train it because when culture is built, right, and it's not hoped for, and same goes, we kind of want to train this in, train accountability. It's a lot easier said than done. I get it, but we want to be the change that we want to see. And the third thing is we can like invest in it, can't we?
Yeah. Tell us about
Because
that.
like cheap culture is what costs money long term. I think. And you can't kind of budget cut. We can't budget cut our way into thriving workplaces. And some of this stuff is free at the end of the day because it comes down to our own values. And, you know, like what's expensive is stuff. Turnover. It's expensive. Burnout. Expensive. drains productivity, bad reputation, loses participants. That's the stuff that is expensive. And I guess if we don't kind of, as a sector, look at this stuff, we can be paying the consequences anyway with a dysfunctional culture within what's meant to be the greatest sector in the world.
I love
I
how you're
think
saying
anyway.
this. I'm with you. Like if we're not if we're not all about people, what's going on? And I mean, if I see another website with the word person-centered, as though we've suddenly all become support coordinators, I'll just fall over. I'm like, honestly, we're going to claim to be person-centered for our participants, and then we're just going to be very self-centered outside of that. I get that. So can I paint a picture, and can you tell me where the holes are in the picture I'm painting, Amy? Because you and I are both seeing the same situation. I'm looking at it going, well, I don't mind if the crowd are different to how they were 6 or 12 months ago, as long as the people I'm close to forming at a level where we have integrity. So you and I would never get together and badmouth people for no reason. Okay, it's not who we are. So if I hang out with you, or if I hang out with like other friends within the industry, I'm like, I choose who my inner circle are and who I spend time with. And for me, I'm like, I can't change the crowd. This is like that saying, as for me and my house, we'll do this. You know, so am I being self-absorbed by going, well, the industry does what it does, over which I have very little influence, but I'm just extra diligent now about who I choose to be real with, because I know that the crowd is less kind, but my inner circle are chosen. What am I not seeing in that? I know that I haven't got the full picture there.
I'll tell you just in one word, participants.
Okay, tell me.
And we really have a duty of care. We're smart adults with a big platform, and we've got a duty of care to say, come on, guys, I know it's tough, but we can work together and we can do better because of our customer base.
Okay, and what's do better look like to you? It's not slag each other down. It's not pay out us.
Yep.
It's not steal a participant. What else is it?
It's like looking at within organizations, we start looking at, can we collaborate? Can we even do it within our own organization? Like, do we have silos within them? It's kind of like looking at ourselves. That's the core of accountability, isn't it? And when we get ourselves right, it ripples outward. And I think if everybody in, owners and heads of organization, people in leadership roles, if we all start, I know it's really idealistic, yeah, but these are things we can do. If we want to do things to kind of better the outlook for everyone, these are things we can do. And look, silos are a big issue to collaboration, aren't they? And I'm not saying you're operating in a silo.
I'm hearing you. Like, I don't know if everyone understands what you mean by silo, though. Like, by silo, are we talking about within the one organisation, you've got like 3 different departments who don't work together?
Yeah.
Okay, what else are you thinking?
Well, the thing with silo is the us versus them mentality. And then if it's in-house, the old, what is it? It's one of the laws of connection is what is inside is outside. So if I've got a department that cannot work nicely with other departments, they will not work nicely with people outside.
That's true.
A spirit of collaboration, and it's like getting a platform to start, you opened and you said, oh gosh, there's a mindset of scarcity. Well, let's talk about it. And rather than talking about that, we can say, well, there's room for everybody. We just need to find our position. And instead of running, we can all sort of slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
Okay.
There's room for everybody. We're not in competition with anyone because, gosh, in a town like where I'm at, there would be a lot of providers, but they all do different things and all do them really well. So technically, they're probably not in that much competition with other people in the one town that they think. And again, it's sort of going within a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's actually being willing to acknowledge what's hard. I hear what you're saying. So I guess the question for me would be, and remember, we're here to ask the hard questions, Amy. Okay.
Yeah.
I may not like the answer to this. If I'm talking to a director who's living on 3% margins, okay, 3% profit margins that I know are going to be wiped out 1st of July. I don't even know why he's still in the game. If he's on 3% margins, is it actually true that there's room for all of us? He needs to get the heck out of here before it costs him his house. Is it true that there's time for collaboration on 3% margins? Is it true there's time for collaboration when you got some of our BDMs being very self-entitled, living off yesteryear's expectations and the ease, and instead of actually going and making sales, they're just making whinging. Like, is there really as much room for collaboration as there was? Because I'd like to believe there is, but I'm worried that there's a door that's starting to close. What are you seeing when I say this, apart from a guy who obviously feels a bit sad about things?
Look, I think like what you're saying is 100% true. But what are we going to do?
Yeah,
Are we
what's
going
the next
to just
move? Well,
at
some
the end?
people do need to get out, but the ones who are in,
Yeah.
if they niche properly, there's room for
Yes.
them. And
Look,
that's part of the issue.
the big look, I say the same thing over and over again, and people simply are not listening because, gosh, it's maybe not an exciting story. But if you want to be the best, right? If you want to be able to swim against this tide of competitiveness that we're facing, which is simply going to get worse, you must be the best swimmer. And part of what we've done is like I see that what's happening within the industry. I get it. But it's enabling your leadership team to have more skills than that provider over there. That's all you can do. We can't change what the government are doing, and we can't change the rules and regulations that are coming in place, but we can change what we've got right here, and we can sharpen our sword as best as we possibly can. And I say it comes down to be the best provider, be dangerously good.
Amy, that's
Be so
brilliant.
good that people talk about it. That's all you can do. We can't worry about anything else. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of incredible people that, may get pushed out. But at the end of the day, I've got no answers other than like if it was me in any place in your life, like if you put it into the boxing ring, right? You can simply just go in and do your best. That's all you can do. And I said to you the other day, right? If you've got an amateur boxer who's going to go into the ring with a pro, like he doesn't need to be going out and getting sponsored, man. He needs to train with the pro until he's either a pro and can compete or he gets knocked out of the ring.